Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust to give you good and patient counsel for investing in your retirement. The Biden administration has caused a financial crisis, and they have no clue how to fix it. Oil prices have skyrocketed, and when oil prices go up, not only do your expenses go up, but the cost of transportation and shipping spikes, leading the prices of goods to rise. And we are already seeing record inflation. That's the last thing that we need. Our economy is in trouble, and you need to take steps to protect yourself. If all your money is tied up in stocks, bonds, and traditional markets, you may be vulnerable. So gold is one of the very best ways to protect your retirement. No matter what happens, you own your own gold. It's real, it's physical, and it's always been valuable since the dawn of time. Call Legacy Precious Metals today at 866-528-1903 or visit them online at legacypminvestments.com. That's legacypminvestments.com, where you can download the free investor's guide. You can also go to my Facebook page, Jenna Ellis. I am a public figure on Facebook, and I just posted yesterday a really great interview with the president of Legacy Precious Metals, who is discussing why you need to start your retirement account even if you're in your 20s or 30s. There is always a great time to protect your retirement and invest, just like you want to protect your health over the long term. So go to Legacy Precious Metals at legacypminvestments.com or call 866-528-1903.
As a constitutional law attorney, former senior legal advisor, and personal counsel to President Donald J. Trump, Jenna Ellis believes in the rule of law and the importance of integrity in our elections. And she's ready to tackle the big cultural and legal issues facing America. This is the Jenna Ellis Show. Here is your host, Jenna Ellis.
Hi, friends. I'm Jenna Ellis, host of the Jenna Ellis Show on the Salem Podcast Network. And joining me now is Charles Thorngren, who is the president of Legacy Precious Metals. And Charles, our conversations I always find so fascinating because you've such a love of and wealth of knowledge around financial investments. And one of the stories recently that people really haven't been paying attention to that came across my desk, I think is incredibly important as people are looking for their financial health into the new year. Of course, we've been talking about inflation, so many other things, but what we're not talking about is OPEC, Saudi Arabia, and the fact that crude oil exchange has always, since World War II, been dominated by the exchange based on the dollar. But now Saudi Arabia is talking to China about actually going away from the dollar and accepting their currency as a form of payment. And a lot of financial experts are concerned about the impact this will have on the dollar. So what do people need to know about this story and how to protect their financial health? Do they need more liquidity in the dollar, or actually more hard assets like physical gold?
You know, it's a great question. And you're right. It's not being paid attention to near as much as it should. America has its place of power based on a couple things. Our military, one. But more important than that is the strength of the dollar, the outreach of the dollar, and the reserve currency of the world. And this is what we see that's being attacked right now. And does it make sense for China to do this? It does. But what it does for us is very detrimental. We no longer have the power of financial sway. The war in Russia right now, we're fighting it not militarily, we're fighting it financially, right? And part of this is why we're seeing this move too. China's saying, well, look, you know, the United States and Europe has really just come down and sanctioned Russia to where they can't do anything. Now, we know why we're doing it. We need them to stop fighting. But for a third country to look at that and say, they could be doing this to me next, that's a terrible thing for them, right? So we look at that and say, and know that right now, Russia is selling almost half of its oil supplies to China in the yuan. It's half of their entire industry is sold directly to China in the yuan. So it's already outside the dollar. It makes sense for China to keep doing this. And the next place to go is Saudi. The problem where we run into with this is the fact that the US dollar will no longer be the most powerful currency. We don't have the financial sway, because if Saudi does it, And then suddenly, let's say now some of the other nations that we don't necessarily like, they start trading in the yuan for oil. We lose the ability to, one, regulate the world, but two, the other very important aspect is we no longer have a place to go to sell our debt. China has been a big buyer of US debt for centuries, well, not for centuries, but for decades. And they will no longer have to do that. So now we have another problem on top of losing that financial power. We now have the inability to write as much debt as we have because no one will buy it. Countries won't need to buy that debt so they can get their oil. And this leads us down a very slippery slope. We will see repercussions through all the markets, through equities markets, through computer chip markets, right? What's to say that people don't start buying all their chips in yuan? What's to say that they don't start buying all other assets in yuan? And also it opens up the fact that now maybe they start to send more exports, China does, to other countries. It builds that relationship that we have, and it takes it and it tears it down. Turkey's another country that could possibly do this as well. So it really leads us down a very dangerous slope. We have to be worried about what China plans to do.
So what's the solution to this in terms of, if these negotiations are going on between Saudi Arabia and China and Russia and looking to move away from the dollar standard, then is there a way that Congress should intervene, or what is the real practical solution, assuming that the uniparty in Washington, D.C. even is paying attention to this?
The ultimate way to fix it, very difficult, but the ultimate way would be to have a balanced budget, to not have a negative GDP rate, right? We have more debt than we produce, and to actually have some strength. We didn't have this kind of weakness in the world when President Trump was in office. We have, the last time that the president was there visiting with China, you could see it there. Xi Jinping did not move to go and shake President Biden's hand. President Biden had to walk all the way across the stage. That was it's a small thing, but it speaks volumes to where we stand now, what kind of power we have. And that needs to be fixed. We need to fix our finances. We need to fix our resolve in how we handle things in the world. And we need to be strong again. We're not. These are all major problems. And Russia started stepping away from the relationships that we had and the communications that we had. They felt like they were empowered and emboldened to go ahead and attack the Ukraine because we have weakness. Now we're seeing the same move from China. So it leads us into a scenario to where we need to rebuild that American strength. Mm-hmm. And if we don't, we're going to see financial consequences to it.
So how can individuals rebuild their own financial strength, even if Washington doesn't do it on behalf of all Americans? What are the solutions for individuals as they're looking to their own portfolios and their own dollar values being decreased because of inflation and some of these decisions?
Yeah, and that's a great question. The easiest answer is gold and silver, right? This is an investment that is a counter investment to the dollar. So as the dollar runs into problems, you have more strength in gold and silver, right? It also trades around the world, so you have that kind of security. In the best of times, you should have some gold and silver. In the worst of times, you need gold and silver. So that's one. That's the easiest one to accomplish, right? We can do that from our homes. We don't have to worry about trading on a foreign exchange and trying to find a stock overseas that's going to give us value. So that's the easiest way. And it'll also do a couple things for you. One, it'll give you that stability, but it'll also allow you to be able to take greater risks in other assets because you have the stability of your gold and silver. A lot of crypto investors are finding that out now. They're saying, I wish I had a little bit more security. And had they had a platform in gold and silver, those risks they took in the crypto world wouldn't have been as disastrous, right? They would have been able to take those risks, and it would have been an educated risk. A lot of people made good money in cryptos, and a lot of people held on too long. Equities, same thing, right? A good portfolio that has a basis in gold and silver allows you to offset the highs and lows of other riskier and high flying type of investments, right? We didn't have the downturn take such an effect on a portfolio when there's gold and silver in there to offset that crash that we saw in the equities, which we see coming again. We have interest rates still going up. That's not going to change. So that gives you that protection to do that stability, that insurance.
And so, what's the most common objection you get, or maybe question that isn't as informed when people are looking at investing in gold and silver and they think, well, maybe that's just the conspiracy theorist kind of model to say, well, I need something like that is, a hard asset that I can have as a protection. And what's your response to that?
Just because people who are conspiracy minded invest in metals doesn't mean that it's not a good investment. You look at why we do that, right? And it's not about the conspiracy, it's about the security, right? And the biggest question people have is they just don't understand it. For generations now, we've been told, put all your money in the stock market, buy different stocks to be diversified. That's not diversification. Diversification is when you have different asset classes, stocks, bonds, some cryptos now, some real estate, some gold and silver. We're at a moment in time where the most attractive thing is actually gold and silver. So it comes off kind of like I'm promoting something because it benefits me. And it does, but that's not why we're talking about it. In this environment, you need the gold and silver because everything else is suffering from interest rates, from a bad economy. Unemployment is going to be starting to pick up now. There's a lot of things happening that, when you look at your equities market, the 401k market is such a huge volume of that market. But the less people get paid and the less people working, the less money gets automatically invested. It takes an effect. You'll see the downturn. Higher interest rates, the cost of a company to carry a loan is so much greater. And we see that. And the best example of that is homeownership. If you bought a house 2 years ago, for the same amount of money that you're buying it now, your price is twice as much because of the inflation, because of the interest rate. So instead of a $2,000 mortgage, you have a $4,000 mortgage for the same home. Nothing has changed except the cost of money. And that's why we invest in gold and silver, because it protects you from that. It gives you a hedge.
And that makes perfect sense. And I think that the way that you describe that needs to be shouted from the rooftops. And that's why, you're here to describe this for people who maybe are a little bit hesitant or they're scared about it. Or, maybe there are people who are looking at their New Year's resolutions and they're saying, I really want to get financially healthy, like they would have a fitness resolution goal. So many people are familiar with gym memberships going through the roof during New Year's because they say, well, I want to get healthy. Well, that doesn't mean that day one that you step into the gym, then suddenly, bam, you have a six pack. You have kind of these small steps, and you also have goals in terms of actually fulfilling your resolution. So for people who say, okay, this is the year 2023, I'm going to get financially healthy in terms of my assets and my retirement plan, where do they start? What is the plan that they can follow? And the first step that they need to take?
First step is to contact us, right? Get all those questions answered. I try to answer as many as I can here in these forums, but there's questions that are specific to each individual. Call my team. They will show you what options that are there. They'll answer questions you have. We'll make sure that this makes sense for you. And listen, sometimes it may not be right. And we're not afraid to say, this probably isn't right for you right now. Okay. So call, find that out. That's how you get started. Because when there's a comfort and you understand the process, it now makes sense and we can show you what you can do about it. The most important thing we can do is educate people on why it's important. And once we do that, then we can take the steps to say, is this right? What should I do? How do I go about it? Do I use personal monies? Do I do 401k money? Do I retirement money? There's so many questions there, but we have the answer and we can lay it out in a way that makes sense so that you know what you have invested. Most people don't. You ask them what stocks they have an idea, but they don't even know what that company does, right? Get educated about your investments. It changes so many things. To not be afraid that you won't be able to retire is a beautiful thing. And that's what we want to focus on, is removing the fear of what's happening. Be aware of it, but know that I have a plan in place that's not going to affect me as negatively as it is someone who isn't protected. That's the important thing.
Yeah, removing the fear, and knowledge is power, and ultimately knowledge is freedom. And when people actually feel like they understand the process and they can make decisions in their own best interests, and they have champions and advocates on their team, like all of you at Legacy Precious Metals, that's a lot of power to then make the best decisions in your own personal interests. And that's all about what our founding fathers talked about when they said to pursue happiness and the rights of individuals to direct their own decision making, especially in areas of finance as well, and your own personal freedoms and liberties. And so for everyone who wants to contact Legacy Precious Metals, there is no better time to do that than the start of the new year and starting your new year off well. So you can go to legacypm.com, or you can call the 800 number. And so Charles, where can people find that?
Legacypminvestments.com. Best place to go. I'm going to give you some great information there, contact information. And I think you'll find a lot of answers there. But again, go there, check out the information, get the free goal guide, right? Start there and then give somebody a call. You're going to have questions. I can't answer every question in a brochure. I wish I could. It just doesn't work that way because we want to make sure. Absolutely.
Maybe you should write one day, but yes, it'd be a book.
Ooh, I don't know if I have the time for that, Jenna. Maybe one day, but not right now. It's busy.
Yes, because everybody's calling, and that's so great. So go to legacypminvestments.com, download the free investors guide, and tell them that Jenna Ellis sent you, because Legacy Precious Metals is one of the great partners that we have at Salem Media Network. And we're very, very thankful for you and all of your wise advice. And thank you again so much for joining me today, Charles.
Oh, it's my pleasure as always. Thank you, Jenna.
Thanks. Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust to give you good and patient counsel for investing in your retirement. The Biden administration has caused a financial crisis, and they have no clue how to fix it. Oil prices have skyrocketed, and when oil prices go up, not only do your expenses go up, but the cost of transportation and shipping spikes, leading the prices of goods to rise. And we are already seeing record inflation. That's the last thing that we need. Our economy is in trouble, and you need to take steps to protect yourself. If all your money is tied up in stocks, bonds, and traditional markets, you may be vulnerable. So gold is one of the very best ways to protect your retirement. No matter what happens, you own your own gold. It's real, it's physical, and it's always been valuable since the dawn of time. Call Legacy Precious Metals today at 866-528-1903, or visit them online at legacypminvestments.com. That's legacypminvestments.com, where you can download the free investor's guide. You can also go to my Facebook page, Jenna Ellis. I am a public figure on Facebook. You need to start your retirement account even if you're in your 20s or 30s. There is always a great time to protect your retirement and invest, just like you want to protect your health over the long term. So go to Legacy Precious Metals at legacypminvestments.com, or call 866-528-1903. Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt so soft in the store, but then when you leave and you go to use it, it's not really that absorbent? It's basically a towel that is leaving you out to dry. That's why MyPillow has developed the MyPillow towels that actually work. I know, it's totally mind-blowing. Towels that actually dry you. Their 6-piece towel set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. They come in a variety of colors. I have the sage green and the white. I love them. And right now you can receive a 6-piece set for only $39.98 with promo code Jenna. That's JENNA. So go to mypillow.com right now and click on the radio listeners special. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty and have a 60-day money-back guarantee. So to receive this amazing offer on the 6-piece towel set of MyPillow towels, just go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and enter promo code Jenna, that's JENNA, or call 1-800-564-8475. That's mypillow.com, promo code Jenna.